Shalom, shalom. Brother Danal here with Brother Azrael. We're gonna do a video tonight. It's Friday, man. Going into this Sabbath. Hope you guys have a beautiful Sabbath, a peaceful Sabbath. Hope you guys' week wasn't too rough, but if so, right now is the time to reset. Right, so it's a good day. It's a good night. Um, so Shabbat Shalom first and foremost. Today's video, I don't know if you want to call it a factual Friday or not, but we are going to be diving into the laws of God, right? First and foremost, we want to give all honor to and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We do so by way of His only begotten Son, who is an instrument of salvation for the nation of Israel, right? Um, and we do recognize Him and acknowledge Him in all things and everything that we do. The only right thing to do. Today's lesson, man, we're going to be examining, uh, how can I say this, man? The Bible is endless, and it contains endless wisdom. And there's certain times, man, that it contains laws and statutes that on a day-to-day basis, the average person can overlook, right? And so we're just going to examine one of those laws and see how deep it actually goes, and we're gonna first I'm gonna pull the law to start with, then we're gonna go into some examples, right? And then I got a video to play at the end to cap it all off. But at the end of the day, man, this is all for edification and exhortation and encouragement, right? I want to say something at the end of this video, just to encourage, fellow Israelites, But without further ado, Brother Azrael, you got anything to add? If not, I can put this first precept on the stage here, and we can get it going. Shouldn't be a long video at all. We're gonna start off in the book of Leviticus, man, the book of the law, right? Leviticus 19 and 16. The book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord. Read that second part again. Neither what? Neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord. Right, man. Right. So it's in the laws of God that we cannot stand, stand against the blood of thy neighbor, right? Some other translations say, stand by while the blood of your neighbor is being shed, right? It says, I am the Lord. And a lot of times when brothers bring this precept out or this commandment out, and they reference things like George Floyd, right? When George Floyd was getting that knee put on his neck, you had a lot of brothers and sisters around, right? They was around him, but they wasn't helping him, right? They was putting it on World Star or YouTube or whatever, Facebook Live, right? But they weren't intervening, and ultimately the brother had to lose his life, right? That right there, everybody involved would be, counted for as in sin, right? That's keep that thought, man. That's actually gonna go along with the video I'm gonna play at the end of the video of this lesson, at the end of this video, right? Because it's things like that where where we're at in time, our people, we're just cowards, right? We worry too much about what's going to happen to us, right, instead of doing the right thing. And so that's why the title of this video is See Something, Say Something, right? A subtitle could be Silence is Complicity. Your silence is complicity, right? Complicit, meaning that you're signing off on whatever's happening. You stand around George Floyd getting killed. You're not doing nothing. You're not, standing up for your brother. You killed him too, right? And a lot of times we don't see it that deep, but that's what it is. Let's get some examples of this. First example is not going to be an actual example, but it's going to be an explanation in the Bible, right, so to speak. We're going to stay in the same book. We're going to go to Leviticus chapter 5. Nah, I don't think I want Leviticus 5 yet. I think I'm gonna go to the book of Numbers real quick. One second, bear with me. Let me check my precepts real quick. Um, Refresh my memory. Leviticus 5. Let's see. Oh, we can go. We can go to Leviticus 5. Yeah, yeah. Let's go. Let's go to Leviticus 5:1. Right. Some more commandments, some more statutes to live by. Right. This precept was actually brought to my attention. I've seen it before, but recently it's being brought up. If you're in the community right now, March 21st of 2025, just saying the time frame that we are in the community. You know why a lot of people are bringing up this precept. No, I'm not bringing it up for that reason, but it did stick with me, and it goes with this lesson pretty good. So we're gonna read Leviticus 5:1. You're on mute if you're reading. The book of Leviticus, chapter 5:1. And if a soul sin, and he hear the voice of swearing, and is a witness, whether he has seen or known of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity. That's crazy, man. And that's very deep. This is very deep, right? It's saying pretty much what we've been said in this video already. Your silence is complicity. If you see something, you should say something. I want to highlight something in this precept because, you know, we equate it with being around folly and not saying something, right? But this says even if you just know of it, right? If you just know of it, of course we know there's a right, there's a decent and an order way to do things, right? But this literally says if you know of something and you don't utter it, right? You know what I'm saying? You can be found in sin. What does that look like? Somebody, I'm not saying you're a gossiper, but some information has landed on your ears, right? And you know the information. The information is sin, right? What does it say? If a soul sin, hear a voice swearing, right? And you're a witness of it, whether you see it personally or if you know of it, right? You're supposed to utter it. Now, who you utter it to, that is contextual to your situation, right? But you're supposed to make it known. There's no way to get around that. That is what it is, right? If not, uh, you will be seen as knowing this information, holding it, and then now you become guilty too. You kind of come, what do they call that in the world when you're kind of like you're an accomplice, but it's another word for an accomplice, right? But you're an accomplice in the situation, right? Because you know something, right? Uh, the situation might be where a person was transgressed against, but they're too scared to come forth, or they don't know how to come forth, but you do, right? Um, you're supposed to utter these things. You're supposed to get them out there so they can be dealt with, and they can't be, kept quiet or swept under the rug, right? Again, this has nothing to do with what's going on in the community today, right? But again, it just goes with the lesson. If you see something, say something. It says you should utter it, then he shall bear his. If you don't do it, you're gonna bear that person's iniquity, right? So say you didn't even want to know about what somebody just told you, but they told you anyway, right? If you don't utter it, right, you bearing that person's iniquity, right? You got to bear the cross for that person's sin. You know what I'm saying? You got to carry that upon your shoulders, right? And usually when we keep secrets like that, man, it gets heavy. People go crazy, and then it comes out at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? Then it's not done decent in order. Or a lot of people take secrets to the grave, man, not knowing that the secret that you're holding, you're gonna have to bear that like you did it, right? You're gonna have to bear that like you did it. You with somebody, right? And y'all riding around, and your homeboy accidentally killed somebody, right? And you don't say nothing. When you go meet your maker, or you getting tried as a murderer. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't say nothing, right?
And they it's the same way in the laws of America and a lot of other countries too. When you found being an accomplice and you could have said something but you didn't, a lot of times you punish with the same punishment that the person that did it did that did the crime. You know what I'm saying? because one, you could have prevented it because you was there. Two, you knew about it, didn't say nothing about it. When you could have helped the court case and the judge. So you've been um, an accomplice to the crime, and a lot of times you get the same punishment. So you know, and that goes to show you that a lot of the morals that we see today are are influenced, or they are obtained by the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Because the Bible is a standard in the earth, whether people want to believe it or not. The morals in the Bible, you know what I'm saying, kind of are how people see what's good and what's evil.
Right, man. You know, and so the purpose of this video, man, is really just to get your minds going, and really meditating on the laws of God, right? And in this law in particular, a lot of people, kind of brush off from day to day, right? We'll go over some examples at the end, of just day to day things that people do that we don't really think about, but in the end, our silence is complicit, and ultimately it could be considered sin, right? This is a little explanation in the law, again, of your silence being complicity, right? So not necessarily dealing with sin, but it will display silence being complicity, right? Or your silent being consent, right? So this is Numbers chapter 30. We're going to start at verse 10.
Numbers chapter 30 and verse 10. And if she vowed in her husband's house or bound her soul by a bond with an oath.
So if she's vowing, this is talking about vowing a vow, right? We all might make vows to God. We all probably made vows when we were in the world. It might have sounded something like, "Hey, Lord, if you give me this job, I promise I'll stop smoking." Or, these are vows that you made before God. Or, for instance, somebody would be like, "Lord, if you give me a son, I promise I'll make him a Nazarite vow and dedicate him to you." Right? We've seen vows in the Bible where a man goes off to war and he vows to sacrifice the first thing that comes out of his house. You know what I'm saying? That to me, that's a stupid vow, but you gotta honor it. You know what I'm saying? You have to honor it. These vows are taken kind of serious, right? In this situation, it's talking about a woman vowing a vow. Now, who is Lord over a woman? It's her husband. So her husband ultimately, um, he predicts the vow. Well, he has jurisdiction over the woman's vow, right? He can pull the plug if he wants to, um, or he can let it slide, right? So let's read verse 11.
Verse 11. And her husband heard it and held his peace at her.
So her husband heard the vow and didn't say anything, right?
And disallowed her not. Then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand.
Right. So if the husband hears the vow, like if I'm in the kitchen and my wife is in the room and I can hear her making a vow to God, right? She's saying, "Lord, if you give us a son, I promise I'll name his name Javante Davis," right? And I'm in the kitchen and I hear it, right? And I don't say nothing, that vow has to stand. If we have a son, his name better be Javante Davis. You feel me? But because I did not say anything, this is just displaying the fact that your silence is complicity, right? Your silence is complicity. You have a lot of power in your tongue. If you don't speak out, right? Don't nobody know if you're for this or you're against it. So the way God sees it as, if you don't speak out, you are consenting, you're complicit with whatever action, whatever statement is being made, right? And so in this case, the husband, his silence was complicity and consent to whatever the woman is vowing at the time, right? Let's read verse 12.
Verse 12. But if her husband hath utterly made them void on the day he heard them, then whatsoever proceeded out of her lips concerning her vows or concerning the bond of her soul shall not stand. Her husband hath made them void and the Lord shall forgive her.
Right, man. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, just plainly speaking, the Bible goes about how saying that the woman is a weaker vessel. So sometimes she might make a vow out of emotion. You know, if the husband overhear it, he might be like, "Hold up, now. I don't think you really thinking this through. I really don't think you know the ramifications of what's gonna come with this vow now, right? I'm pulling the plug on it. He can make that call, right? And the Lord will forgive her, right? Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shebrew, and the Lord can forgive her, right? The Lord can be like, "Oh, your husband saved you because you was about to owe me now. You was about to owe me." The husband can do that only if he speaks up. Only if he speaks up. He can't let it go, and then something happened, and now you're dealing with the consequences, and he like, "Well, nah, I don't like it. Let's back out of it." Ain't no backing out of it, right? He has to speak up right then and there. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no going back on it. So you can kind of equivalent that with premeditated sin too, right? I'm not saying it's sin, but what I'm saying is you can't willfully sin and then try to take it back last minute. You see what I'm saying? So you can equate that with that, right? Let's get a couple of examples, right? Let's go to the book of Exodus. Exodus 2 and 11. And of course, if you follow me, you probably already know which example we're getting first here, right? Let's go to Exodus 2 and 11.
Book of Exodus chapter 2 and 11. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting in Hebrew, one of his brethren.
Right, man. So this is Moses. He's seeing one of his brothers getting beat. He's seeing George Floyd get that knee on his neck. You know what I'm saying? By an Egyptian, by an oppressor, to one of his brethren. You know, verse number 12. What does Moses do? Oh my Lord. Scroll back down, man. Well, I'll go. What does Moses do? Verse 12.
Verse 12. And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand.
Right, man. He looked this way, he looked that way. He's making sure the coast is clear. Or he might be looking at someone to judge the matter and be like, "Hey, can you tell bro to stop?" You know, I know people don't look at it like that. But either way, he looked and make sure the coast was clear, and he had to do what he had to do. Because if he didn't, that blood would have been on his hands. He would have been accounted for being a murderer to his brother. Right? You see how that is? And so, again, this is another example to show that Moses actually lined up with the laws of God. So in a place where people count Moses as a sinner because people say, "Oh, he killed an Egyptian, he's a murderer," right? Where people claim him to be a murderer, he's actually in line with the laws of God. So he's actually keeping the commandments versus breaking them. And a lot of people don't understand the situation because it was commanded to us to not stand by while our brother is being killed. We read that in Leviticus 19. And what do we see here? Let's go back to verse 11 real quick. Read verse 11 one more time.
Verse 11. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting in Hebrew, one of his brethren.
One of his who?
One of his brethren.
One of his brethren, right? What did Leviticus say? We can't stand by and watch one of our brothers get killed. So Moses literally was doing what was written in the laws of God, right? So where people go to say that he wasn't a perfect man, not saying that Moses was perfect by any means, but you cannot use this situation to say he wasn't perfect and that he was a murderer. First of all, the word just being a murderer in general is taking an innocent life. One, he wasn't taking an innocent life. He was actually protecting somebody so it was purposeful. It wasn't just for no reason. To say that it was for no reason means that you're siding with the and you're agreeing with the oppression of Hebrews. That is nothing. That Hebrews are 3/5 of a human being. To say that as murder is to say that what the Egyptian was doing wasn't bad and it was supposed to happen. You see what I'm saying? But let's go to another example. I got two more examples, and we're gonna play this video. Right? Let's go to Luke, Luke chapter 10. Luke 10 and 25. Right? I think this is it. Let's go. Let's start at 30. Luke 10 and 30.
The book of Luke, chapter 10 and verse 30. And Jesus answering said, a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment and wounded him and departed, leaving him half dead. And by chance there came down a certain priest that way, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side.
He saw so what happened? A priest came and saw this man beaten half the death, and instead of walking by to see if he needed any help, he's literally probably crossed the street. What did it say? It said he passed by on the other side. He crossed the street and avoided the brother just to get to where he was going. A lot of times we you know, this is off record, but we encounter that when we go out and we teach on the street. We'll see brothers and sisters come in, they see us, instead of walking by us, what do? They cross the street to cross the street to walk past us to cross right back over, right?
Or walk all the way around the block,
or walk all
come across the other corner.
Right. So a lesson inside of a lesson. This also could be showing you how our own brothers and sisters do us in this, well, while we're in this truth, trying to give them the gospel. You know what I'm saying? We're beaten down, right? And they walk around us, you know, but they call themselves, a lot of times they kind of toot their noses up at us. Like they, you know, we try to reach out to a sister last Sabbath, right? And you know, she kept just telling us, I know my word. Sister, and did nobody even say you didn't know your word, you know? But the Bible says it does say hear every matter, but that's just a lesson inside of a lesson. But what happened here is we see somebody walk past or avoid his brother that was in distress, right? Verse 32.
Verse 32. And likewise a Levite, when he was at that place, came and looked on him and passed by on the other side.
Right. A Levite also did that, came, passed by the other side, right? Verse 33.
But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him.
He had compassion on him, right? I think that, vaguely speaking, there's a law that says we can't see our brothers waxing and poor, right? And
turn a blind
eye
to the poor.
What does that look like? A lot of us, when we go downtown and there's homeless folks coming up to the window, we rolling the window up, we locking the doors, and they right here at the window, and we acting like that we don't see them, right? That's a sin according to God.
Yeah, that's a blind eye.
That's a sin. Even if you're not going bless the brother or sister with some money, at least give them the dignity to acknowledge the fact that they're standing there because they're a person, right? At least give them the dignity to tell them no to their face, right? Because who is to know? Who is to know that they weren't just coming over to let you know that your tire flat? You know what I'm saying? Now you looking crazy. They was trying to help you out. But nonetheless, it's a sin to do that. And that actually goes into play with this lesson. A lot of us do that. And again, your silence is complicity. Your silence and you ignoring them right, is complicit with you wanting them to be in that state, whether you can help them out or not. But we see the Samaritan, he stops and he has compassion on his brother that was half beaten to death, right? Verse number 34.
34. And went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his own beast, and brought him to an inn, and took care of him.
Right? Verse 35.
Gone. And on the morrow, when he departed, he took out 2 pence and gave them to the host, and said unto him, Take care of him, and whatsoever thou spendest more, when I come again, I will repay thee.
Right? Verse 36.
Which now of these 3 thinkest thou was neighbor unto him that fell among the thieves?
Right?
And he said, He that showed mercy on him. Then said Jesus unto him, Go and do thou likewise.
Right. Him that showed mercy, the Samaritan was the neighbor, was the brother. A lot of people don't know that the weightier matters in the law is what? Judgment, mercy, and faith. What does mercy look like? Mercy doesn't look like, oh, brother done sinned and we should give him mercy. Right? Mercy looks like this. What did he say? He said, he that showed him mercy. What was the mercy that was displayed in this action? The compassion showed towards him when he was in a low estate. That's that mercy. It's not covering up for sin or anything like that. But when somebody is in a lower state, that's when you show them that compassion, right? That's when you aid their wounds, right? You build them back up. That's the mercy. Not turning a blind eye to sin. Because why? We got to see something and say something. You see what I'm saying? Let's I got one more example before we play this video, right? Let's go to we're gonna go to a book that people really don't go to. People really don't come out of like that. We're gonna go to the book of Susanna. We're gonna go to the book of Susanna. For a lot of people that haven't read the Apocrypha, man, I encourage you to do so. Got a lot of quick reads in there, man, that are kind of powerful, you know. How many of y'all know about the sister Susanna? The book of Susanna only has 1 chapter, man. You should be able to knock that out tonight if you haven't read the whole thing. We're going to talk about the book of Susanna. I'm trying to get straight to the point, right? Yeah. All right. It started at verse 14, man. You can read with we can read with some purpose too. I ain't gonna stop you till you get to about 20. Right? It started 14.
The book of Susanna, verse 14. So when they were gone out, they parted the one from the other, and turning back again, they came to the same place. And after that, they had asked one another the cause. They acknowledged their lust. Then appointed they a time both together when they might find her alone.
I lied. I gotta stop you right here. So just to give context, man, it's 2 elders, right? And they both are lusting over Susanna, right? That's what it's explaining. Both of them have parted ways, right? But they circle back, right? And they both acknowledge their lust for Susanna. Keep reading verse 15.
Verse 15. And it fell out as they watched a fit time. She went in as before with 2 maids only, and she was desirous to wash herself in the garden, for it was hot.
So she was about to wash herself openly. My bad. I said I wasn't going to stop you. Keep reading.
And there was nobody there save the 2 elders that had hid themselves and watched her. Then she said to her maids, Bring me oil and washing balls, and shut the garden doors that I may wash me. And they did as she bade them. And she shut the garden doors and went out themselves at privy doors to fetch the things that she had commanded them. But they saw not the elders because they were hid. Now, when the maids were gone forth, the 2 elders rose up and ran unto her, saying, Behold, the garden doors are shut, that no man can see us, and we are in love with thee. Therefore, consent unto us and lie with us. And
So what happens here is they've trapped her, right? And they want her to lie with them, right? They want to have a menage a trois or whatever, right? And they put her in this conundrum, and she's basically like, dang, well, she's gonna go on to say, dang, well, if I don't sleep with you, that's to my death, and if I do sleep with you, that's to my death. Either way you look at it, so God help me. But she didn't sleep with them. She ends up escaping, right? And they take her to trial. They take her to trial, and the trial is, when you look at it, it's 2 against 1. It's both the elders against her. So you already know what happened, right? They side with the elders, right? They make up a lie and they side with the elders. And now Susanna is being tried for what? Adultery. She's being tried for adultery. They have swung the gavel, and they have said that she is guilty and she's about to die because two elders lied on her and said that she was guilty of adultery. But something happens, and I want you guys to notice what happens, right? Let's see. Right here, verse 45.
verse 45. Therefore, when she was led to be put to death, the Lord raised up the Holy Spirit of a young youth whose name was Daniel.
This is said to be believed to be Daniel from Daniel's in the lion's den, right? The prophet Daniel. Keep reading.
Khan, who cried with a loud voice, I am clear from the blood of this woman.
Daniel's, hey, they're in the council, and she has been said she's guilty. They're going to lead her to her death. She's going to die an adulterous woman's death, which is to be stoned alive. And Daniel raises his hand up. He says, yo. He said, I'm clear of this woman's blood. She is innocent. She's innocent. Now you could imagine everybody looking like, what is this dude saying? Like, it's kind of like what you got going on. Verse 47.
Verse 47. Then all the people turned them toward him and said, what mean these words that thou hast spoken?
What do you mean, boy? Verse 48.
48. So he standing in the midst of them said, are ye such fools, ye sons of Israel, that without examination or knowledge of the truth you have condemned a daughter of Israel?
Right?
Return
with just little evidence, you have condemned her to adultery, right?
Return again to the place of judgment, for they have borne false witness against her.
Right.
Wherefore all the people turned again in haste, and the elders said unto him, come, sit down among us, and show it to us.
So Daniel, right? He said, hey man, y'all need to come back in here and we're gonna try this again. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna try this again. Hey man, it takes guts, it takes cojones to stand up and speak out like this when you know something is wrong. Daniel could have easily been quiet, he was outnumbered, let her go to her death. But he might have waited to the very last minute, but he still said something.
Yeah.
Right? You have something to say?
I was gonna say, yeah, he could have definitely said, I wasn't there. This has nothing concern me. I'm not sitting in an elder seat right now. Maybe one day I'll be able to preside and execute righteous judgment. I'll just let, whatever happens, happen. He didn't say that, man. He took it, and a lot of us, we get the unction to say certain stuff, but a lot of times we pacify it for whatever reason. Daniel, right? He just didn't pacify that feeling. He said and did what he was led to do. And we see that follows his life, even, all the way to where he's in Babylon and he's, interpreting dreams and things like that.
Right, man. And Daniel in this situation, if you read the story, he wasn't there, like the brother said. He wasn't there, but he just had an unction. He had a discernment in him that'd be like, man, I don't think this is right. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High God put it on his spirit, right, to display how he was going to catch these elders up. Now, he could have been wrong. But, knowing the reputation of Susanna, he was giving her the benefit of the doubt, and he spoke up when he felt like he needed to speak up, right? So read verse 50 again real quick.
Verse 50. Wherefore all the people turned again in haste. And the elder said unto him, Come, sit down among us, and show it us, seeing God hath given thee the honor of an elder.
Right. So right now, man, when I read this, man, I just think about our people, man. He's telling them, hey, come back in. And everybody's rushing back in. Hey, I'm just viewing our folks, man, just in the mindset that we have. Like, ooh, this is some good tea. You know what I'm saying? They're rushing back to hear out the matter. Right. I'm gonna get to the point. I was gonna say how Daniel caught them up. But man, I want to leave that for you guys, man. If you haven't read the book of Susanna, man, I encourage you to read it and see how the strong brother Daniel came to the judgment, the righteous judgment that he did, right? But I want to get to the point real quick. It says let's read 59.
Verse 59. Then said Daniel unto him, Well, thou hast also lied against thine own head.
Talking to one of the elders, right?
For the angel of God waited with the sword to cut thee in two, that he may destroy you.
Right? Keep reading.
With that, all the assembly cried out with a loud voice and praised God, who saveth them, but that trust in him. And they arose against the two elders, for Daniel had convicted them of false witness by their own mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And according to the law of Moses, they did unto them in such sort as they maliciously intended to do their neighbor, and they put them to death. Thus the innocent blood was saved the same day.
So Daniel, right? He has put forth the plow, and he made the situation to where everybody had to judge righteously, right? Which is his name. The word Daniel or Danal or Danyala, right? It literally means the judgment of God or God's judgment. And we know God's judgment is righteous. In this case, his righteous judgment prevailed. And contrary to what they were trying to do to the sister, they had to take her punishment, which is to be stoned to death, right? But I want to make something known, right? If Daniel didn't act on the spirit that the Most High gave on him to utter something, to utter it, right? To see the whole matter, and he kept that to himself, when he met his maker, he probably would have had to answer to that, right? So just another example to let you guys know, man, hey, if you see something, say something. Hey, if you hear something, say something, because that's what Leviticus said. What is that? Leviticus 5:1. If you hear something, if it was just brought to your attention, right, you're supposed to say something. Now, that's all the precepts I got. Let me share my screen real quick if I can get this back up. We're gonna share a quick video real quick. Hold up. Let me see if I can pull this up. Let me see if I can pull this mighty sister up, man. And when you watch this video, man, I want you guys to put your minds in the mindset of us in this truth, right? What we're called to do. Let me see if it'll play here. All right. Let's see. Stop screen. Present. Share. All right. I got a little short here, man. We're gonna play this, man, and then we'll do the benediction. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
To tell them these kids aren't stupid. They understand the name of the game. What we're not telling our kids are the nature of struggle and who the enemy is, because we're scared. Because we're scared. Because the enemy will take my job and I can't pay for my Lexus. I can't pay my house note. I can't send my kids to college. So I'm not getting up and talking about that.
So let's keep quiet, because the struggle
and silence is consent. Nobody has to tell them.
He says silence is consent. right? Silence is consent. So I bring that last video out to say encouragement for the Israelites in this truth. I want to encourage you guys to keep doing the work, right? I want to encourage you guys to keep talking about our God, who we are, and what we have to do. I want to encourage you guys to keep denying those jobs that want you to work on the Sabbath. I want to encourage you guys to keep the attendance low to these holiday gatherings, whether it be from your family and your friends or whatever. I want you guys to speak out. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared, like the sister was saying in the video, right? Our people have become afraid to lose what's in our lives, afraid to lose our lives, and we won't speak out when we need to. What's the title of this video? It says, see something, say something. I want you guys to keep telling folks how they're killing themselves by eating shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster, like the brother Azrael did in this past week on Facebook, right? I want you guys to keep this stuff and don't stay silent, because your silent is consent. What does your silence being consent look like? Everybody knows, well, if you're an adult, man, you probably know somebody that smokes, right? Silent is consent. Your silence is complicit. When you're around them, they fire that thing up and you don't tell them, hey man, put that cancer stick away. You know, a lot of us, you know, we'll be like, man, he old and stuck in his way. He ain't gonna put it away. Even if he doesn't put it away, you're still supposed to say something, right? A lot of times we get in this mode to where it's like, man, you know, I'm at the job. I don't want to cause a commotion. But no, brother, you saving that brother's life. You know what I'm saying? When we go out on the street, we make it our business. Especially if we going on the street for this truth, spreading this gospel, we make it our business. If we see sin, we gotta call it out right then and there, because that's what we out there for, right? And it's love. We're not out there to pacify you into your sin. If we see something, right, we gotta say it. And it's not to be a nuisance to you, but it's to really to help you, to save you, right? Because the average person is gonna let you go about walking around smoking packs of cigarettes a day, right? The average day, you're not gonna run across folks telling you to stop smoking. But if you know an Israelite, you came across the right ones, right? We gonna let you know. And it's all out of love. It's not us trying to be over righteous or judgmental, right? It's us trying to save our people. And also understand, man, that's saving you from sin. Because if that brother continues to smoke and your words didn't fall on his ears, you get to bear that brother's iniquity. You get to bear that brother's sin, you know? Because your silence is what consent or complicity. So if you see something, say something, right? You got something to say?
I was just gonna say, man, when you let something go by, whatever the repercussions are, they land on you, right? If you let somebody, have bad eating habits, right, and you don't say nothing, and then they get some type of disease, some type of eating disorder or something to where it messes up their immune system, clogged arteries, diabetes, and heart infection, high blood pressure, then they end up being hospitalized. Guess what? That's on you, because you let it happen, right? I seen a video not too long ago where a girl lost 100 pounds, and she said, I was feeling some type of way about my friends because why didn't y'all tell me I was fat? She said, y'all, I noticed every single time I put a picture on Instagram, y'all would be like, yes, and send heart eyes and tell me I'm beautiful. Why didn't y'all tell me I was fat though? Because like I would want my friends to be real with me, right? So I say that to say it don't matter what it is in life. If you see something wrong, right, you're only benefiting somebody by keeping it real. You're only benefiting yourself by keeping it real. And that's really the only way you show love, right? According to the Bible, right?
And it's as simple as seeing some barbecue sauce on your brother's beard when you out in public, right? A lot of people won't say nothing. Let him walk around with that barbecue sauce on the corner of his mouth, right? But that little situations like that is practice. Let her pull our brother to the side. Hey, bro, You got something on your face. What's that gonna hurt, right? It's not gonna embarrass him. It's gonna save him. It's not. I'm gonna say that again. It's not gonna embarrass him. It's going to save him, right?
Right. A lot of times we don't say stuff because we think we're gonna embarrass somebody, or we think somebody's gonna take it the wrong way. We're not in charge of how people take it, but we're in charge of if we say it or not. So,
Right.
we gotta stop being so sensitive.
And there's ways to say stuff where our people gotta be better at reading the room. Our people gotta be better at being people persons, because it doesn't have to be an awkward moment. It doesn't have to be an embarrassing moment, right? If you see, like for instance, man, we was out, sometimes you eat with folks that's not in the truth, and they order, abominable foods and things of this nature, right? You ain't gotta be like, Leviticus 11:7 says, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times you be like, man, we ain't supposed to be eating that, man. Man, put that junk down. Don't order that, man. That's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? You can joke around a little bit, but still get that truth out there. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with smoking. Like I brought up, man. A lot of times when people smoke around me, I jokingly say, but they know I'm dead serious. But I jokingly say, hey man, put that cancer stick down, man. Put that, there's ways to say stuff. There's cool ways to say stuff. A lot of people, sometimes, as the brother Isaiah say, a lot of times we gotta find, the inner player in us to say certain things. There's smooth ways to say stuff. There's smooth ways to convey things. But no matter what, I don't care if you say it corny, you must say something. You must utter something, because if you see something, you got to say something, right? Your silence is complicit. Your silence is consent, right? So I just want to encourage you guys to stay steadfast, keep speaking out, keep standing bold for what you believe in, which is his truth, which is these laws, statutes, and commandments, his Bible, your heritage, your God. With that being said, I have nothing left. You got anything else?
I was going to try to play a video from my email, but my email's not on this computer right now. So I'm just gonna, it's a quick video. Hold on one second. I think I could send it to someone else.
I mean, you can email it to me, Roper. I'm about to give you my email right now. I guess I can. You know my email, bro. You know my email, bro. My Yahoo.
Hold on.
I would encourage you to make it kind of quick, because brother gotta eat. Are you sending it to me?
Yeah. But yeah, it's a video just, talking about when somebody corrects you in love, you got to look at it from an aspect of love and not an aspect of somebody trying to be nasty, right? And if we can, as a community and as a people and as a nation, continue to do that as recipients, it'll encourage see something, say something. You seeing?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. Shalom to the Bible Prince.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to go down where the speaker is, and
I know, bro. I'm gonna share like 15 Instagram videos before now. About to play it.
This when we know someone loves us, we can filter everything they do through that lens. Because I have a friend who speaks very bluntly to people, but he has a track record of loving others. No, he said some of the wildest sentences I've ever heard. Like one time we were talking, he was like, Trip, right now you're very young. You have a tiny brain. You don't know anything. I was like, wow, thank you, man. And it's because he had already had this track record of loving people so well that that's what you filter that through. So I wasn't wondering, is this hate speech? Is he trying to insult me? I was really wondering now, how is he loving me? By telling me I have a tiny brain. Everything that God does in your life is motivated by his love for you. His track record has proven that. So when something difficult is going on in our lives, we should not be asking, does God love me? We know God loves us. The question is, how is God loving me in this situation?
Yeah, so see something, say something, like the title says, is love. You know what I'm saying? God even abides by see something, say something, because he says what's done in the dark comes to the light. His eyes is 10 times brighter than the sun. So even the stuff you think he don't see, he sees it and he brings it to light. So he even abides by his own laws. When he sees it, he's going to make sure it's known by everybody. You thought you got away with it, but God makes it known because why? He saw it and he say something. So we got to do the same thing. We got to see it and we got to say something. Can't I yield?
Oh man, it's a mighty video, man. A lot of people don't have that mindset to take something on the chin and not think, oh, this person hating or this person, you know, is being judgmental or is hate speech or whatever towards me, you know. So tap into that mindset, get out from amongst yourself. Know that you're susceptible to being flawed. Take stuff to the chin when people bring stuff to you, because that's the only way we can make it a normalcy, is if we don't you know, act out when people confront us about certain things, right? It's the only way as a community we can stop being so sensitive and we can actually get better. But without you know, I don't even know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. With that being said, we're gonna get up out of here, man. I hope you guys were edified, and I hope you guys were, you know, actually examine the laws that we have, even the little ones that we just went over today, and knowing that, hey, man, if you see something, you got to say something. Remember, if you're not gathering, you're scattering. So do your job, put your brick in, spread this gospel. Let's get right. And we'll see you guys next time. We'll say shalom, Shabbat shalom to all of you guys that are keeping it on this Saturday. And yeah, man, I hope you guys have a peaceful night. Shalom.